All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a question that feels so simple on the surface, but is actually a huge mystery. And that question is, what even is color? We see it every day, we talk about it all the time, but the reality of what's going on is way more wild than you'd think. It all kind of starts with this classic brain teaser. You know the one. If we're both looking at a stop sign, is the red that's happening inside your head the same as the red that's happening in mine? This isn't just a late-night dorm room question. It actually gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today, because it forces us to ask, where is the color really? And here it is. This is the core idea, the one thing to remember from all of this. That stop sign isn't actually red. Color isn't a property of an object, like its weight or its texture. Nope. Color is a creation. It's a story that your brain tells itself to make sense of the light bouncing off of things. It's all happening right between your ears. So, how does this amazing illusion even work? Well, to get it, we need to follow the entire journey, starting with the source material itself, light. We gotta understand how light gets from out there, in the world, and turns into an experience inside our heads. You know, what we call light is just this teeny tiny sliver of a much bigger thing called the electromagnetic spectrum. It includes everything: radio waves, microwaves, X-rays, you name it. Our eyes just happen to be tuned to this one little rainbow band. Everything else on that spectrum is totally invisible to us. So, to catch that specific slice of light, evolution built this incredible piece of biological hardware, the eye. And honestly, the best way to wrap your head around it is to just think of it like a really, really advanced camera. And the comparison is shockingly spot on. You've got the iris, the colored part of your eye. That's the camera's aperture, controlling how much light gets in. The pupil is the opening itself. The lens, well, that's a lens in both. It focuses the light. And the most important part, the retina, at the very back of your eye, that's your sensor. It's the biological version of the digital sensor in your phone or a roll of film. Okay, so let's zoom in on that sensor, the retina, because this is where the real magic happens. This is the place where light stops being just physics and starts becoming biology, a signal our brain can actually do something with. Now, here's a weird little fact. The light actually has to travel through a bunch of other nerve cells before it gets to the cells that detect it. Those light-detecting cells, the famous rods and cones, are actually tucked away at the very back of the retina. Their whole job is to catch the light and turn it into an electrical signal. And these light catchers come in two basic flavors. You've got your rods, which are super sensitive. They're what let you see in a dark room, but they only see in black and white, shades of gray. Then you have the cones. They need a lot more light to work, but they are the rock stars of our vision. They're the ones that detect color. Okay, so if the cones are the key to color, how many different kinds do you think we have? You might guess dozens, maybe hundreds, to see all the millions of colors we can perceive. But the answer is actually just 3. That's it. We have cones that are best at catching short wavelength light, what our brain calls blue. We have cones for medium wavelengths, which we see as green, and we have cones for long wavelengths, which we call red. That's it. It's called trichromatic vision. Every single color you have ever seen, from magenta to teal to beige, is just your brain mixing the signals from these 3 channels. It's incredible. But wait, it gets a little more complex. It's actually a 2-step process. So, step 1 happens in the eye. The 3 cone types catch the light. That's the trichromatic theory. But step 2 happens in the brain. The brain takes those signals and processes them in pairs that work against each other, red versus green and blue versus yellow. It's like a series of seesaws. This is why you can't imagine a reddish green or a yellowish blue. The brain circuits literally won't allow it. Okay, so we have our 3-cone system pretty well figured out. Now, get ready for your mind to be blown. Because our way of seeing color, it's not the only way. In fact, in the grand scheme of the animal kingdom, it's not even that impressive. Just look at this. On the left, that's us. You see the 3 peaks for our red, green, and blue cones. Standard stuff. Now, look at the right. That's a typical bird. They have R3 plus a 4th one, way over in the ultraviolet part of the spectrum. They have a 4th primary color that is completely 100% invisible to us. They're tetrachromats. And this just opens up this whole amazing world of different ways to see. Most other mammals, think dogs or cats, are dichromats. They only have 2 cone types, so their world is a bit less colorful than ours. We're trichromats. But get this, most birds, fish, and reptiles are tetrachromats, seeing that secret UV color. And it doesn't stop there. Some pigeons and butterflies might even be pentachromats with 5 cone types. We can't even begin to imagine the colors they must see. So what does all this mean practically? It means that these animals are living in a fundamentally different visual reality than we are. The world they see is painted with colors and patterns that are literally beyond our perception. Check out some of these superpowers. Bees see these amazing ultraviolet patterns on flowers that act like neon signs, pointing right to the nectar. Some birds have feathers with UV markings we can't see at all, but they use them to check each other out and pick the healthiest mate. And then there's the mantis shrimp. This creature is the undisputed champion. It has somewhere between 12 and 16 different photoreceptors. We have no idea what the world looks like to a mantis shrimp. So the next time you're outside and you see a bright red flower or a brilliant blue bird, just take a second to remember that color isn't really in the flower or the bird. It's a construct of your mind. And what you're seeing is just one version of reality. To really appreciate nature's palette, you have to realize that our vision is just a small part of the story. You have to try and imagine seeing the world not just with your own eyes, but through theirs.